We are going to do something a little different tonight. Instead of me reading the scripture, we're going to watch a little video of some actors portraying Jesus and the prodigal son and the dad and the older son, okay? So you gotta pay attention. All right. Yep, ready. Roll it, baby, roll it.
And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husks that the swine did eat, and no man gave to him. When he came to himself, he said, How many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare? I will go to my father. I will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came unto his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him. And put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet. And bring hither the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead, and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to be merry. Now his eldest son was in the field. And as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked him what these things meant. And he said unto him, Thy brother is come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he hath received him safe and sound. And he was angry, and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. And he, answering his father, said, Lo, these many years do I serve thee. Neither transgressed I at any time thy commandment, and yet thou never gavest me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends. But as soon as this thy son was come, which hath devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast killed for him the fatted calf. And he said unto him, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. It was meet that we should make merry and be glad. For this thy brother was dead, and is alive, and was lost, and is found.
I didn't know that Jesus had a British accent, did you? No, I know, that's what I was thinking when I was sitting there. And it was in the King James, so it was a little bit harder to understand, but that's not the first time you'll have heard that story, is it? No, it's the story of the prodigal son, huh? Yeah. Well, so most of my extended family lives in Texas, and then my mom and dad moved to Colorado, and I had an uncle that lived there, so there was a bunch in Colorado and a bunch in Texas. And so the Colorado folks back in the 90s decided they needed to have a family reunion. Something going on out there? All right. What's that? Oh, okay. Rambunctious. I hear what you said. Okay. So anyway, all righty. So anyway, the Colorado bunch decided that they wanted to host a family reunion. And the Texas folks always said they want to go to the hills, which meant they wanted to go to the mountains. And so we did. And the first few days were really fun. You ever been to a family reunion? And, you know, it's really fun at first. In Colorado, yeah? Oh, in Texas. Well, not where they're from. Not where they're, flat. Anyway, the first few days were really fun. Getting to know each other and seeing folks I hadn't seen for a long time. And we played bingo and Family Feud, and Uncle Fred was there, and I didn't have very good memories of Uncle Fred. He was, he drank a lot, he was mean. And my cousin Joella, she's kind of got a sharp tongue, and she was there. And I was helping Henry, my cousin, with the bingo one afternoon, and I noticed the little ball he got out of the cage. It wasn't the number that he was calling. And I said, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Shh, just watch." Pretty soon we played 4 games of bingo, and my cousin Joella bingoed 3 times out of those 4 games, and she stood up and said, "I'm done." And Henry turned to me and he said, "That's the way we play bingo in this family." So anyway, and then Joelle and her sister got into it about driving Uncle Fred home. And instead of like taking it away, you know, in private, oh no, it was all when we had just sat down for brunch. So it was like a big show, and my sister said, "Geez, I didn't know there was going to be entertainment." And my mom said, "I'm glad this shindig's over tomorrow." See, you guys can relate to that, huh? Well, so today, this scripture that we just looked at was about a family reunion. And Jesus is teaching some scribes and Pharisees, because they didn't like Jesus because he ate with sinners, ate with people he didn't like. So they mumble, they groan, why is he eating with those people? And so, as I said, we always kind of know this scripture called the prodigal son. And there's the older son, or the younger son, and he goes off and he asks his dad for his inheritance and goes off and blows it all. And we always think of him as bad. And then we think of the older son who stayed at home and did everything as the good son. But I don't always see it that way. because I think that maybe Jesus was trying to teach the scribes and the Pharisees something about not, because the scribes and the Pharisees said people are good and bad, right and wrong, us and them. Jesus didn't see it that way. So anyway, he asked for his inheritance, and I mean, that was like outrageous. A father wouldn't have done that, but the father did. Gave him all his money, and he went off to some like first century Las Vegas and lost it all. Look, in the video, it looked pretty quick, didn't it? Yeah. So, we don't know what he did. He was wrong, whatever he did. And he was certainly a poor money manager, wasn't he? And definitely he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, because there was a famine. And the only job he could find was to keep the pigs. And most likely this guy was Jewish, and working with pigs was like awful. That was a no-no. And so here he's standing knee-deep in pig muck, and I bet his stomach was growling louder than those pigs were oinking. And he all of a sudden realized, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? I should go home. So he loses everything. Now, we could read this to think, well, he got what he deserved. Didn't he? I mean, he blew all the money. It's his own darn fault. I know I am. Can we edit it? Oh man, that's going to come back to haunt me. I'm sorry, Rosemary. The rest of you don't care, do you? I didn't think so. All right. So when I was little and Uncle Fred would come stay with us, he was hard to get along with. And sometimes he'd get back on his feet and go and, move on. Other times we just got tired of him and told him to go back to Texas. And sometimes when I wanted to feel better about myself, I'd think about Uncle Fred. Well, at least I wasn't like Uncle Fred. Sure, all of us have somebody like that, don't we? Make us feel better if we can find somebody that's worse than we are. Well, you know what? This guy he felt bad about himself. He was down and out, but you know what? He went home. He regretted his actions. So if we regret something, we can't come home. Think about that. If we're living in a place where we're just regretting everything, we can't come back home until we say, I can't do this by myself. I need to go home to my family or to people that love me. Doesn't mean they're blood. It means it's people that love you. And you know what? We don't even have to have spent or wasted all of our money to regret something. Isn't that true? We regret stuff. We regret times we were stingy and times we weren't nice. We knew that somebody needed a kind word and we didn't do it. So anyway, all the while that the younger son is gone, the dad is at home waiting and working and praying that his son will come home. And you know what? And you saw in the video how the father ran down the road to meet his son and his robes were flying and the dust was kicking up. Did you know in the first century the dad in the family did not do that? That was totally undignified. But he did it because he was so excited that his son was coming home. He met him right there where he was, down and out in the street. And he said, this son of mine was dead, and he's alive again. He was lost, and now he's found. Now he's found. So that feeling of coming home and being welcomed, that's the family reunion. That joy that we feel is when we come in to God's presence, when we know who Jesus is in our heart. So we have to come home, we have to, oh, wait a minute, I forgot somebody. I forgot that older son. Now this is the part that's kind of sticky sometimes. People always think he was good, but I don't think he was good. Just because he's close to home doesn't mean he wasn't lost. It's pretty clear cut, the younger son, what he did, but it's not so clear what the older son did. He's been working and toiling away. I like that word toiling. I don't use it very often except when I'm talking about this. But anyway, he's mad, isn't he? When that brother comes home and he got a party, he's worked hard, he's been obedient, he never asked for a darn thing. And who gets the party? The no good brother. Uncle Fred got the party, right? Yeah. Resentment. If we regret something, it makes it hard to get home. Resentment makes it hard to get home. Did you ever resent anything? See somebody, they did get something they didn't deserve? It felt good to get over it, didn't it? Yes, it did. You know what? When we get bitter like that, it just takes us over, doesn't it? Yep, it sure does. We get lost. And we keep telling ourselves we're good people, but we're lost. We're lost to envy because somebody asked for something and they got it. We get lost to judging other people, condemning other people. We get lost to being bitter and angry. And you know what? We can't ask for what we need. So, when we find ourselves thinking that somebody's done us wrong, like everybody's done us wrong, like every little thing that happens and we're all mad about it, that's given into that. We become that older son. So if we can't regret, we can't get home if we regret, and we can't get home if we resent. But look what happened with the dad and the older brother. The dad went out to the older brother and he said, "Why are you so mad? Your brother's home." And the older brother couldn't help it. He was like, "No, it's not right. It's not fair." But look what the father did. He ran out to see his son on the road. He went out of the house and found the older son who was mad. I think that's what God does to us. I don't care where we're at, God is there. Isn't that true? God meets us where we are. Now, we can live a spectacularly bad life, but did you know that God's there the whole time? Yep, God's there. That's absolutely right. So let's just say that we're squandering. You like that word, squandering? Yeah. That's not a word I use every day either. But just think, when you squander everything you have, did you know that God is just waiting there to hug us and welcome us back home? And when we're just always mad and always getting in fights, God's there even when we don't want to listen to what God's saying to us. God meets us right where we are. Amen.